Donald Trump usually gets his optics perfect, but the flag on Giorgia Meloni's car slightly ruined the moment.
Great person.
The president has said Italy's prime minister was someone he could work with to straighten out the world. But Trump is the one single-handedly turning the world upside down with his tariffs, with Meloni here to try to get a deal.
The retaliatory tariffs that the European Commission passed and then suspended, are they still on the table if you cannot make a deal with President Trump?
I'm sure we can make a deal, and I'm here to help on that. I cannot deal in the name of the European Union. My goal would be invite President Trump to pay an official visit to Italy and understand if there's a possibility when he comes to organize also such a meeting with Europe.
Meloni is an ally of Trump and his populist brand, but her country is also still part of a European Union much maligned by MAGA. So this is a delicate diplomatic dance.
We're going to have very little problem making a deal with Europe or anybody else, because we have something that everybody wants.
And that would include the Japanese, who kicked off talks yesterday in Washington, with their trade negotiator saying that Trump said they were a priority, as the president tries to entice allies in and isolate his main foe, China. Trump, of course, had a great relationship with Japan's former late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, but that didn't stop him slapping on the tariffs.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much.
So Keir Starmer is hoping his successful sit-down in the Oval Office in February will bear fruit, with reports today that the UK could be just 3 weeks away from a trade deal. But if a week is a long time in politics, 3 weeks is a lifetime in Trump world. It's only been 15 days since so-called Liberation Day.
They charge us, we charge them.
And as the tariff pause deadline looms in July, who knows what Trump might do next? With stock markets still volatile, the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, warned of rising prices and slowing growth, and said interest rates would not change. That has angered Trump, given the European Central Bank cut their interest rate again today, with Trump saying Powell was always too late and wrong, and that his termination could not come fast enough. That is a worrying political threat.
It shows you how the market feels about this. It doesn't want to have to deal with this idea of firing Powell.
We got enough going on.
Powell said his removal was not a presidential decision.
Our independence is a matter of law. Congress has, in our statute, we're not removable except for cause. We serve very long terms, seemingly endless terms.
The US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, seated on the right of Trump today, cautioned against any attempts to remove Powell. But this is a president willing to push his powers to the limit. Trump has been using an emergency law to implement his tariff agenda, and that's now being legally challenged, with California filing a lawsuit against the president that only Congress has the power to impose tariffs.
Bottom line, Trump doesn't have the singular power to radically upend the country's economic landscape. That's not how our democracy works.
But this is how President Trump likes it, the center of attention, the center of power, with every foreign leader hoping to get a favorable deal, despite knowing he fluctuates as much as the stock markets his policies are affecting. So Donald Trump was asked today, of the long list of countries that are trying to cut a deal, who's the priority? And he said everybody's a priority. He even said that there could be a really good deal with China on the way, even though there's no formal negotiations yet with Beijing. So this is a White House trying to be sort of calm, cautious, positive on tariffs, perhaps knowing that behind the scenes in the White House, many are concerned about the impact on the economy. But remember, this is a White House still at war on trade, but also two other big issues, immigration and also higher education. On immigration, the Trump administration is defying the courts, defying judges when it comes to him sending men to an El Salvador prison. And on higher education, Trump is battling Harvard University, now threatening to take away its tax exemption and even threatening to stop foreign students going to Harvard. So remember, on all these fronts, there is a looming showdown on immigration, on higher education, and on tariffs. And remember, we're not even 100 days yet into this Trump second term.